Just want to remind you guys, this episode is presented by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code JUICE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another one. Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Cody and Derek, of course, back with another one, guys. Guys, Derek has already done his mock draft 3.0, a little bit of a different type of mock draft where we are going to trade down from the 14th overall pick here. So trade down scenario, which I know a lot of people have potentially talked about for the Indianapolis Colts. So we're going to do that in this one here. And that would obviously mean a few players would be off the board that we'd like for the Colts to take at 14. So let's do this real quick. Okay, so we are going under the assumption here, guys. Tyler Warren is gone. It took a little bit of finagling, but Tyler Warren's gone in this scenario. He goes earlier than the Indianapolis Colts. I believe he went to the Jets here in this situation. So with that being said, there's a couple players here, but we're going to trade back a little bit here for the Indianapolis Colts and move back from 14. I think, Derek, I'm going to try to stay ahead of the Chargers. Let's focus on going like Seattle here. I know you went Cincinnati. Let's focus on Seattle here. Let's make this trade with them to move back here. So in this scenario, Derek, you go back to 18. I would say maybe you're able to get either their 82. I don't think you could probably get their 52 with this scenario. You're not going back that far. So let's just, in this scenario, get their 82 here, going back these four spots. I mean, it's kind of right in the middle here, Derek. So I think it's probably a pretty fair trade from what you can tell here. So we'll make this trade here with the Seattle Seahawks. They go up and get their wide receiver there. So here's a situation, Derek, where you got Will Johnson, you got Jihad Campbell, you got Mike Green, you got Colston Loveland here, Derek.
There are a lot
also,
of great
Malachi
names
Sturkis
right there, man.
There's a lot of good names. Now, I know I told you in yours that in this scenario, I'd probably go Colston Loveland, but just to change things up, I also said I'd probably go either Michigan guy. So I'm actually going to go Will Johnson here, Derek. I'm going to change it up a little bit because, yeah, it's not necessarily a need here for the Colts, but Derek, Will Johnson is, from what a lot of people have said, a top 10 pick. Like, he's got that talent. So if he falls all the way to 14, I mean, just think about the situation you could be in if you're the Indianapolis Colts, having two corners that could potentially be very, very good. So, yeah, not necessarily a need, but I mean, we've seen the Colts put a big emphasis on really improving their secondary. And so I think this would be a great way to do that in this scenario. So what are your thoughts here? I know a little bit surprising here. And again, either that or Colston Loveland I'd be totally fine with here. But what are your thoughts on that pick?
Definitely a very interesting pick. Again, you can't go wrong with the player. Player definitely is worthy of that type of pick. But, again, for the idea that you already kind of have your corners available with you right now, I mean, again, you can never have too many good corners because, you need to have that sort of thing available to you, especially for how inconsistent the Colts have had players at the position. So, I mean, again, if you feel like you have another easy one to pick, then that's fine. Just maybe isn't quite a need right away. And, maybe first round is more of a potential need type of pick.
Yeah, but also if he's the BPA and you're like, we need to get this guy. Like, I know we don't necessarily need it, but the upside with these two guys, I mean, it could be wild the next number of years, right? So, again, I understand it's not necessarily a need. And I know why some people, if they see that, they'd be like, that's kind of a waste. But Derek, if he can turn into a top 10 corner, I don't think it's a waste. So, and just talking about, I love Jalen Jones. I think he's a really good player, but Will Johnson at his peak, Derek, can be a lot better than Jalen Jones. Let's be honest. So, yeah, Will Johnson there. And the reason why I did that also, Derek, was because I trusted the depth of this class. I'm going to be rewarded for this with a guy like Mason Taylor here, who I'm going to take out of LSU, with my second round pick. And I know a lot of people like him here for the Indianapolis Colts as well as kind of a non first round option. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, Mason Taylor in the second, definitely a good pick. I know that some people think Mason Taylor might get taken in the third, but then again, I think a lot of people would tell you Mason Taylor's tight end number 3 in this draft class. And, there's quite the possibility if Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland both go in the first round, Mason Taylor could get very well taken early. So,
Yeah.
if you're wanting to get that tight end option for you in that second round, that might be the best option.
Okay. Sounds good. Then here in the third round, I'm going to go Demetrius Knight at pick 80. Again, we made this trade to move down. And with that trade that we moved down to number 18, we got the 82nd overall pick.
Nice.
And with that one, Derek, I'm going to actually pull one from your book. I'm going to go Wyatt Millam here, the offensive tackle from West Virginia. So there you go, Derek. Boom, boom, linebacker and offensive tackle.
Love it. Love it. I like the Knight pick. If Demetrius Knight is available at 80, you can 100% take him. A veteran college player, is a guy that's had a lot of experience in college, so he's very smart. And then obviously Millam there, a guy that can be position flexible. I like that.
Okay, so this is where things get a little bit interesting because I mentioned already, I think the Colts might be in the market for a quarterback, but I don't know if I'd be comfortable taking one this early, Derek, as early as the fourth round. I'm not sure because obviously you got Will Howard here, who I think is going to be a good player in the league. And you also got obviously Quinn Ewers, who the Colts have met with as well. But I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this because, you got corner, obviously you feel really good about that. You don't need to touch that the rest of the draft. You got your tight end now, you got your linebacker, you got offensive tackle. I mean, what are the positions left? Running back would be one probably. I would think maybe a defensive line of some sort. I definitely wouldn't mind that as well. Like Deion Walker, for example, sitting here at 89. What would that be, Derek, for you? I don't really know a lot about Deion Walker, to be honest with you.
But I don't know that name very much. I mean, if you looked at the defensive lineman, you could probably see a lot more of the options. But I mean, there's definitely some good interior defensive line players even at this moment in the draft. So
yeah,
did you
I
say
think I'm
you
going
were
to
thinking
go.
of going quarterback too?
I think, but I don't think this early. So I'm going to
Okay.
go. So I just looked a little bit about Deion Walker. Admittedly, I don't know a ton about him, but definitely an athletic kid. And we know how much the Indianapolis Colts love their athleticism with their defense alignment. So I think with this pick, that's kind of the route that I'm going to go here for the Indianapolis Colts. Deion Walker here out of Kentucky here at pick 117. So, you get a little bit more depth. Obviously, we know the Colts don't have a ton of depth behind their two starters, DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. They did sign Neville Gallimore, but really outside of that, they don't have a ton of options here. So what are your thoughts there on the Indianapolis Colts adding some depth there at that D line in the interior?
You need to, man. So makes a lot of sense. As we said, guys, today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Instead of battling against thousands of other players across platforms, you're basically picking 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're choosing more or less on those stat projections to be able to watch those winnings roll in. It's very easy. Do you guys want to play along at some of Prize Picks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and UFC fighter Sugar Sean O'Malley? Well, if you guys sign up today, you can find the community plays under the promos tab of the app to view the entries of some of the biggest names on the platform and be a part of that as well. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You could turn $10 into $1,000 just like that with NBA, NHL, and college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Like a lot of other things, guys, they also offer injury insurance, so your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. So if someone exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player projection won't count against you and the rest of your entry stays live. So it's great bounce back for that one. What I love about the app as well, guys, is it's not just sports like NBA, NHL, football, and tennis, and baseball, and all these other things, but there's also a lot of others that go into it as well. If you like to place entries on video game situations like Call of Duty, CS2, Apex, if that's something that appeals to you, there's a wide variety of sports and video games and everything else that you can place entries on. And I love how expansive it is. Even just looking at the NBA, there's entries you can make with turnovers, with points. You can do combo deals, dunks, field goals attempted, all of these different things. So there's just so many different ways to make money off of these entries. Be sure to download the app today and use the code JUICE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup.
All right, here we go, Derek. So Kyle McCord's sitting here, and I'm really tempted to take him. I'm really tempted to take Kyle McCord here in round 5. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, it's potential. I mean, you're going to have a third year. That'll be your QB3. Look, I have my own personal biases against Kyle McCord. I'm the last person that you should be asking if they should get Kyle McCord or not. So I'm the last person you want to talk to about that. But that's anyways, true. Yeah, I mean, you got a couple different choices. You know, you can go quarterback here. You can go interior offensive line help. You can go running back. There's a couple different options here.
Yeah, running back I think would be probably the way I want to actually go here for the Colts here in round 5. So you got a couple guys here, Derek. Damian Martinez out of Miami. You got Bayal Tootin here out of Virginia Tech. RJ Harvey obviously out of UCF. Ollie Gordon here as well. So, I mean, there are some options here for the Colts. Any guy that sticks out to you here out of these running backs, I kind of feel like we're in a similar spot here where we're looking around this area. There's a couple familiar faces here. I'm leaning towards RJ Harvey again.
It's either RJ Harvey for me or Ollie Gordon. I like Ollie Gordon too.
Yeah, I'll probably go RJ Harvey here just because I think he has a little bit more upside as a pass catcher than Ollie Gordon does. So I'll probably go that direction here, although Ollie Gordon would have been a good pick as well. So RJ Harvey out of UCF here. Remember the last running back the Colts took out of UCF, Derek, in the mid-rounds? I mean, it worked out pretty well for them. So, yeah,
Who
RJ
was
Harvey.
The last one?
Marlon Mack, man.
Oh, Marlon Mack. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Time flies, Jesus.
I know, right? Okay, so here we are at round 6. So there's a quarterback. Okay. There we go. Luke Kandra. Got
if
him.
He's even there. Again, I would highly doubt he'd make it that far. But if he is there, then that's an easy one.
Easy. Okay. So I got one more pick here. Obviously, this is all who I've gotten so far. Let's round this out here well, Derek. One last pick. Okay, so they're suggesting a couple different guys, a couple defensive edge guys here that they're suggesting for me. We haven't really addressed edge, Derek. It's kind of a crazy mock draft for me. I haven't even touched edge, which is wild. I usually would do this. He likes to get that, or he likes to go. We haven't got safeties either, but I don't know. I don't see a ton of guys that I really like at this point. So, with that being said, I don't know. This is a tough one, man. I mean, why not? Go get. I'm going to look at the difference between these two guys real fast here, and kind of see. Okay, the profile, because they don't. Unfortunately, they don't give you the profile on these guys here. Really? Okay. Okay, so he's still learning that position. I mean, that definitely seems like the type of guy. Okay, I'm actually going to go though. I'm going to go Quay Robinson, Derek, and I'll explain here in a second. Okay, so I was just reading a little bit about Quay Robinson. So I actually got recruited to play safety when he originally came in. So talk about athleticism right there off the chart. Yeah, yeah, he's got 9.5-inch hands here, so 6'4", got an 80 and 5/8 wingspan. So, I mean, this guy's got a pretty good frame, all things considered, and got some athleticism. And like we've said before, Derek, the Colts just love their athletic guys, especially in the later rounds. So, you know what? It's a Chris Ballard draft, and I have to add an edge just because it's Chris Ballard. But yeah, guys, here we go. I probably could go either way with my first round pick. I understand if people don't like that pick, but this is what I'm gonna stick with just to kind of change it up a little bit. So we got Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. He was the BPA, so I went with it. And you got Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU. Demetrius Knight gets our linebacker position there. Wyatt Millam, the offensive tackle from West Virginia. Dion Walker from Kentucky, the interior defensive lineman. RJ Harvey, the running back out of UCF. Luke Condra, the offensive lineman out of Cincinnati. And finish it up with Quay Robinson, the edge out of Alabama. So, Derek, what are your thoughts here on my mock draft 3.0, the trade down scenario?
Hey, I liked it. Like I said, you could have went a couple different options in that first round, but it is what it is. It's still a good pick nonetheless. Like the use of getting a bunch of different good players and a bunch of premium positions for you. Again, you're very spread out. So very much enjoyed that one. And I think it's one of your better ones yet, man.
Yeah. And like I said, I could have gone either way with my first round pick, but knowing the Colts, knowing Chris Ballard, sometimes they do that where they shock you and take a position you're not necessarily expecting. So just wanted to kind of do it, put my mind in the mind of Chris Ballard for a second. And, Derek, can't go away from how much they have very much emphasized the defensive backs this offseason. So this would not be a shock to me at all, to be honest with you, based off of some of their actions. Again, I know they've already, invested a lot free agency wise in improving that unit, but if you can get a player you believe can be a true lockdown corner for the next 5 to 10 years, I mean, I think you take it, Derek, even if he's not necessarily a need.
Yep, 100%.
All right, awesome. Well, guys, let me know your thoughts here in the comments down below when it comes to my mock draft 3.0, the trade down scenario. Would love to hear your thoughts. Again, any guys that you would maybe add here, or what would you have done there with that trade down scenario here? What guy would you have liked to see the Indianapolis Colts take if a player like a Tyler Warren or somebody else isn't available at 14 and they do trade down? Let us know your thoughts on all those things. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.